If you've ever tapped request because getting there fast felt safer than waiting, listen close. These are 5 true rides sent in by people who now double-check plates, locks, and routes. I cut names, verified timestamps where I could, and kept the details that matter. Think twice before you request tonight. Flight delays put me curbside at 1:12 a.m., the airport mostly empty, and the taxi's gone. My app matched me with a silver Camry, plate ending 7K3. The driver messaged, "I'm at column D," which lined up. I checked the plate and the face. He looked like his photo, just heavier, with a knit cap pulled low. The first 5 minutes were normal. The seat heater clicked on low, a podcast about stocks murmured, and the map traced a blue ribbon to my downtown hotel. Then the route shaded gray and rerouted across the river. I asked if there was a closure. He said the highway had a wreck, and this was faster. He sounded calm enough that I let it go. When I reached for the window, it wouldn't roll. I tried the handle. The door didn't open. Child locks. Not illegal, but out of place for a rideshare. I asked him to turn them off. He nodded, didn't touch anything, and merged toward a frontage road lined with warehouses and fenced lots. The podcast cut to static like he'd dipped us under a bridge. The app spun. The ETA jumped by 11 minutes. I tapped the safety button in the app and selected share trip. My screen said sending. No one texted me back. I looked up and saw his eyes in the rearview mirror, not at the road, but at me, like he was waiting for a question I'd already asked. A truck yard gate slid by. An unlit park opened ahead, a city sign half knocked down. I said I felt car sick and needed air. He cracked his window a hair, enough to make the sound of wind, but not to help. At the next light, I unbuckled, leaned forward like I was looking for a bag, and hit the lock switch on his door with my thumb. It clicked. I yanked my handle, shoved the door, and ran. My suitcase stayed. He shouted something I didn't catch. A security guard from the yard saw me and called dispatch. A patrol car rolled up 10 minutes later. My bag was gone from the back seat when they found the Camry pulled over 3 blocks away. The driver's record was clean. The officer wrote, "Suspicious deviation, passenger fled." I called the app. They apologized and refunded the trip. I walk faster from airports now. I drive nights because the roads breathe easier after midnight and the tips don't lie. One Friday around 2:20 a.m., I accepted a pool request that turned into a private when the second rider canceled. Pickup was outside a closed bar. 2 men waved me down though the pin showed one. Both slid in back, hoodies up, one carrying a gym bag that sagged like tools. The talk was small at first, then turned specific. "Can you take the alley behind Marshall Street? Quicker." The app's route didn't agree. I said I had to keep to main roads. The one with the bag said he'd throw in cash. The other said he got carsick on turns unless he could crack a window and smoke. I reminded him about the no smoking rule and washed his hands in my mirror. He wasn't holding a lighter. He was palming something long and thin. Training rides had taught me to narrate my moves on dash cam even if no one listened. I said, on camera, that we were staying on marked routes. The bad guy asked who I was talking to. I didn't answer. I turned at a green that fed us onto a boulevard with bright storefronts. We hit a light. The screen on my dash flashed blue for a moment as a patrol car rolled through the cross street. The gym bag zipper slid. The palmed thing came up. Not a knife, a length of cable tie. I said I had to stop for gas and pulled into a station where an overnight cashier watched through glass. I left the engine on and got out fast, both hands up like I needed the pump unlocked. The cashier read the picture. He buzzed the door and called out that police used the shop lot to stage at night. The bad guy swore and said they'd walk. They did, quick, cutting across the dark slice by the dumpster. I filed a report with the platform and saved the clip. After a stadium show, the street boiled with taillights and shouting. I ordered a ride. White SUV, plate 4LM, 829. A white SUV slid up fast. A man leaned out, called my name, and popped the rear door before I reached the curb. His plate read 4LN, 829. Close isn't correct. He said, "Same car. Don't worry, cops tow if I idle." His phone flashed something I couldn't read. He reached for my bag. I kept the strap on my shoulder and said I'd wait for my driver. His smile died at the edges. He idled, door open, engine ticking. I texted my real driver that a similar car was trying to collect me and gave my exact corner. He replied, 2 minutes. When the right SUV turned in, the plate matched, the photo matched, and he didn't use my name until I asked for his. As we pulled out, the first SUV tucked in behind us and followed through 2 lights. Then it peeled toward the freeway. My driver said people had been trying this all week. Copy the car type, guess names from curb shouts, bank on chaos. A woman had gotten into the wrong SUV days earlier and never finished her trip. They found her phone on the sidewalk, still open on confirmed pickup. The morning after a work dinner ran long. I ordered a ride from a boutique hotel to my apartment across town at 12:38 a.m. The map showed a straight shot along the river, 15 minutes. A white sedan pulled up, plate matching, sticker in the windshield glowing. The driver greeted me by name before I asked for his, which always puts me on edge. I buckled up and watched the app more than the skyline. We rolled through 3 greens. Then he took a right 1 block early. The new path still fed toward the bridge, but it cut under a stretch of construction scaffolding I avoid on foot. I mentioned the turn. He said Waze was faster. The app on my phone didn't agree. The blue line reasserted itself and kept asking us to make a U-turn. At the next light, I tried my window. It didn't move. I tried the handle and felt the familiar float of a child lock. I asked him to switch them off. He said, "Sure thing," and tapped the screen on his phone without hitting the lock button on his door. The route pushed us beneath an overpass where the streetlights were out, and a service road ran beside a chain-link fence. That was the moment his phone lost its trip banner. The logo bar vanished. His screen went to a home screen with a wallpaper of a lake. He palmed the phone fast, but I'd seen it. The app wasn't running in front anymore. On my screen, the ride persisted, but the car icon stopped moving. The ETA froze. He said coverage dropped out here sometimes. I said, loudly, that I'd just hit the emergency button to share my exact location anyway. I slid to the middle seat and leaned forward like I might be carsick, which put my hand closer to his lock toggle and far from the door he could reach. I pressed the lock switch, heard the click, and said I needed air now. He cracked his window. I pushed mine down at the same time, now that the lock was off, unbuckled, and stood into the gap as we rolled to a stop sign. He braked hard and grabbed my sleeve. I left the jacket in his hand and stepped away, shouting for help toward the shadow of a 24-hour deli. 2 guys in aprons came to the door. The sedan idled, then shot off. The deli owner watched the street cameras for me while I filed with the platform and called non-emergency. They never found the driver again under the same name. The next morning my jacket was hanging from the handle of the hotel's revolving door, like a trophy carefully returned. I've driven rideshare 4 years without a major incident, but last March a ping nearly made me stop. It came at 3:07 a.m. from an address I knew, a narrow cul-de-sac where I'd picked up bar workers before. The note on the ride said, "Please don't honk, baby sleeping. I'll be at the curb." The profile photo was a woman in sunglasses, 5 stars, for 100+ trips. Clean. I rolled in with doors locked and windows up 2 inches, the way older drivers taught me. The porch lights on the block were mostly dark. At the pin, a silhouette stood by a trash bin, small and hunched like someone in a big coat. I tapped arrived in the app. A message came back instantly. "Car trouble earlier, can you help with my bag? It's heavy." That was the first click in my head. Riders don't usually message that fast unless they're already in your back seat. I kept my hands visible and said through the cracked window that I couldn't handle luggage for insurance reasons, but I could pop the trunk. The figure didn't answer. The porch light of the house at the corner flicked on, then off, twice. The hairs on my neck stood up. My brain did the normalizing trick, maybe a motion sensor, but the timing lined too well with my hesitation. I eased the car forward 20 feet, like I was making room for someone to come around the bend. In the side mirror, 2 more shapes detached from the shadow of a parked SUV and drifted toward the street, slow and casual, like guys out for air. One held his arm close to his side under his jacket. The first figure by the bin turned his head enough for me to see the gleam of a mask pulled up to his forehead. I said, "Cancel if this isn't your ride. I'll circle," and accelerated out, not fast enough to chirp tires, just decisive. The chat blew up with "Hey, where are you going?" and "Wrong car, bro," even though the profile was a woman's name. The app pinged that the rider canceled a minute later and charged a fee I didn't care about. At the end of the block, I saw the porch light at the corner flick on again, off again twice. A door across the street opened a hair and closed. Back at a well-lit gas station, I emailed support with the dash clip and the chat log. 2 days later, a driver group chat shared a security bulletin from the precinct. 3 men arrested on suspicion of staging rides to carjack near that cul-de-sac. The note listed a signal neighbors used when they saw figures waiting behind cars. 2 quick on-offs with the porch light. Someone on that block had been trying to talk to me without a word. 5 rides, 5 small tells, a plate off by 1 letter, a route that drifts, a light that blinks twice, a door that won't open, a driver or rider too eager to control the frame. Contrast the promise with the reality. Convenience is safest when verified. Check plates. Sit behind the driver. Keep child locks in mind. Share your trip early. If routine twitches, move. Think twice before you request tonight.